Go. Welcome back, guys. It is time for us to do the third and final part in this lines and volume series. If you haven't watched the first two parts yet, part 1 and part 2, please watch them. If you watch all 3 parts, it will help you understand all the stuff that's going on. You can see different examples, you can see what you have to know, you can do the practice problems for the pop guide early. All 3 videos are not much longer than 15 minutes in total, so go ahead. Spend a little time improving your math skills, and here we go. Once again, we're dealing with lines. Now before I showed you a line like this, and I told you it was intersecting. Then I showed you lines like this. And I told you they were parallel because they'll never touch. Now we have lines like this, and I know what you might be thinking. You might be going, Mr. Graham, aren't those lines just intersecting like these were? Well, you're right, they are intersecting, but there's a special kind of intersecting. A special kind of intersecting that makes right angles. Or in other words, if you're not completely clear on what a right angle is, if you're not completely clear, it's two lines that cross so perfectly that they make like a perfect T, or a perfect cross, or a perfect X. And I do mean perfect. Notice how each part of these perpendicular lines, part, seem to be equal to each other. When two lines cross in such a perfect way, those are known as perpendicular lines. Like that. Perpendicular. Think of it as perfectly crossing lines that make right angles, and there's no imbalance. You see, these lines that I just made, they're not perfectly balanced, it's kind of lopsided in a way. But these lines that are crossing are perfectly balanced. They're perpendicular. They make right angles. Those little perfect L's that you can draw between lines like that. Perpendicular. Let's move on. What is PQ? Well, PQ is this line that goes through this circle right here. Before, I told you 3 different things: chord, radius, and diameter. Those are the fancy circle line names that you have to know. Now, a chord goes from one part of the circle to the other part of the circle. But I'm going to tell you why this is not a chord. The one I drew in red is a chord, but this one over here in purple is special. It's like a chord, sure, but it's special because it seems to go from one side of the circle and passes through the middle of the circle. If it passes through the middle of the circle and keeps on going to the very end, that is diameter. Please remember that a radius is when it starts on one side, goes to the middle of the circle, and then stops. That's what a radius is. But this line doesn't go to the middle and stop. It goes all the way to the end. So it's not a radius. It's a diameter. So one more time. Chords are lines that go from one end to the other. Diameters are lines that go through the middle from one side to the other. And a radius is a line that hits the middle, bloop, and just stops. Did you catch all that? Want to rewind the video and play it one more time? Maybe you should. Let's move on though if you're good. How are these figures related? Well, they're very close to each other. They're very, very close. Take a good hard look at them. They are indeed the same shape. But are they the same size? If they are the same shape but not the same size, those are similar. If they were the same size, they'd be congruent, but they're not. and they're not neither. They're similar. If only this rectangle was a bit bigger, then you'd have the same size and the same shape. And that's what congruent is. But unfortunately, we only have the same shape, but not the same size. So they're similar. If you didn't catch that, go back. This is the third time in a row we're talking about it. All 3 parts of the videos. They should help you out. I think you can do it. And let's talk about volume one more time. One final practice volume problem together. Do you remember how to find volume? Volume? It's all about multiplying. All about multiplying what? The 3 dimensions. The 3 numbers you see on a shape, on a 3D shape. I see a 10. I see a 20 going that way. And I see a 9 going up. Gonna have to do some multiplication. I'm gonna do 20 times 9 first. That's just my choice. It doesn't matter what order you go in. That's your choice. But my choice is to do 20 times 9. I want to get that over with. 20 times 9. Here we go. 9 times 0. Ha! 0. 9 times 2. Times tables, kids. 18. May as well keep that answer and now multiply it by the third number that we haven't dealt with yet. This 10 over here. 180 times 10. Here we go. Wow, 180 times 10. I'll do it the long way, but I'll show you the trick after. 0 times 0. 0 times 8. 0 times 1. This is why I like the trick better. I'll show you that in a second. Drop your turtle egg. 1 times 0. 1 times 8. And then 1 times 1. Add all that up together. Well, 0 plus that stuff is still going to be the same darn thing. You get 1,800 millimeters. So those mm's, those are millimeters. Millimeters. And don't forget, in area you put squared a little 2 because you've multiplied 2 numbers. But in volume you've multiplied 3 numbers. So go ahead and put a little itty bitty 3. Yeah, alright. Let me tell you about the trick I was talking about. You see here, when we got to this part of the problem, we had 180 times 10. We didn't really have to do any of this because anything times 10, right? Anything times 10 is the same number with an extra 0 at the end. So 180 times 10, like we have down here, is the same number but with an extra 0 at the end. And as you can see, that's the same thing we got down here when we did it the long way. But hey, if that trick blows your mind, don't do that trick. Do it the long way. Use the turtle. Yep, the turtle. Like I've shown you, make sure you lay the egg for the placeholder 0. You can do it. You can. I know you can figure it out. Let's look at our Pop Guide practice problems. Which is shown? They show you 2 lines. They want to know if these lines are intersecting or if they're parallel. These 2 lines right here, that's a symbol for the word parallel. How are these figures related? Are they congruent? Are they similar? Or are they not either of those things? Look down at this circle. What would you call this line? Remember, there are 3 things you can call it. Remember what's special about each different thing. And over here we have volume. You know how to find volume, don't you? A little multiplication, you know? Yeah? We just did it. We just did it 2 seconds ago on this page over here, so come on. Come on. You can do it. Alright, guys. That's the end of the helpful videos. We'll go over this in class. You'll have a chance to ask questions. Practice them. Do your homework. You'll get it. You'll get it. Hardworking kids will be fine. lazy kids, you know the ones, they're not going to be all right. So don't be one of those, all right? Work your hardest. I'll see you guys in class. Bye.